in the beginning. So I did my first party in August, and the party did great, over $700 in sales. And so I just kind of rolled on from that. So I try to do at least 3 to 5 parties a week. On average, I'm doing about 3. Sometimes it's 5, but I try to do about 3. I try to turn my hostesses into stylists. I feel like we are basically setting everything up for them. I set up a group for them on Facebook for their parties. They've got customers. And so at the end of that party, all I have to do is turn it over to them. And that's what I tell them, hey, you've got a group with customers already in it. Take it. It's all yours. And so that's kind of what has been working for me, is turning my hostesses into stylists. And it just seems to work really well. And they've done really good that way also. So I do not cold message ever. I hate cold messaging. I don't do it, and I don't teach my girls to do that. So I just I am the type of person, I just kind of put myself out there, and, if people want to be a part of what I'm doing, then they'll, ask me questions or whatever. And, so I'm kind of more of a attraction branding type person, I guess you would call it, so that's kind of the way I've started and gotten going. Jackie, go ahead if you want to throw anything in with that.
My baby's gonna cry, but we'll make it work. I'm so excited too for Angie's team. Who doesn't know me, I started back at the end of April, and me and Angie just kind of clicked, and our teams just sound so similar, and so it's exciting to get to kind of team up and do this. Yeah. So for me, I am the same way. I kind of have a funneling system that I do. My most important thing is to get the nails on people and get those samples out as much as I can. Especially, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Especially for you newer stylists who may feel overwhelmed with everything that the team has to offer as far as training and stuff like that. Like if you ever feel overwhelmed, best thing to do is just stick to the basics of get the nails on people. Yeah. So that means going to your mom's workplace. If you don't work, like me, I don't work, and so I stay at home. So I have to find places to get myself out there. So I have to go to my mom's work with my nails. I have to maybe send some with my husband. I had to go to his office to get those nails on people. So you really have no excuse. If you have a workplace, you start there. If you don't, you find a place. Get the nails on people, and then like Angie does so well, you just host parties. So then those people who become your customers, they're your best prospects for a hostess. So like me, I don't cold message, but I do message people who are my customers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just, I don't think they're going to get annoyed by you messaging them because you've already worked with them a little. Right. So then my parties probably are not as great as Angie's, but they do they do okay. Even if they're like $75, I still try to get them to be a stylist. And I even say, because I didn't host a party, but my launch party sucked. Like, nobody bought anything on my launch party. I mean, I had like a few orders, but I basically said to hostesses who kind of are hesitant because their parties didn't go well, I say I've done much better as a stylist than I have as a hostess, because as a stylist, you are able to, your market, y'all, with this, okay, I've done something in the past, and it was so hard to expand my network because it wasn't a referral type business. It was like, I was a Beachbody coach. You can't really refer like health and fitness, you know? So we don't host parties and things like that. That is what's so great and simple about this, is you can host a party and your market is all of a sudden opened up to a whole nother world of people that you don't know.
And that's what, and Jackie and I were talking about this earlier too, about keeping it simple, you know, and yes, get them a sample, because once they try it, they're going to buy it. And that's what I always say. They got to try it to buy it. And if you can get a sample on their hands and have them try it, then they're going to come back. Absolutely. I believe every time they will. And so even if you're going through the Starbucks drive-through, like, I don't know, I mean, you know, and there's a lady handing you your coffee. When she hands you your coffee, hand her a sample and be like, hey, try this. I'll see you tomorrow. You know, I mean, just crazy stuff like that doesn't, you know, hurt anything, but it can certainly, you know, it can help, you know, you never know. But I definitely, and I'll say this too about parties, because you're saying yours are not always successful, but mine are not always successful. I have 0 parties, like $0 parties all the time. It happens. But I always say, just because they didn't buy from me in that party doesn't mean they're never going to buy from me. So a lot of times, like, even if a party didn't do anything, if somebody liked it, like a post or a picture or you know, whatever, they commented on something, I will friend them usually. And then, so, because I think, well, they're interested a little bit, you know, they didn't buy from me this time, but maybe I'll friend them, and then they'll see my stuff later on, and then they might want to buy it, you know, or try it or whatever. So, I definitely think getting samples on people, you know, post on your personal wall about, you know, samples or, you know, things like that. I mean, just keeping it simple. And if somebody reaches out to you about, you know, wanting to know about your business or wanting to know about something, just throw out simple lines at them. Don't give them too much information all up front. I feel like if you throw at them a big paragraph long of, oh, it's color sheet is this, and you start saying all this stuff, you've lost them. They're gone. Like, you told them too much, they're out. You know, don't you agree, Jackie? I mean,
yeah, yes, definitely. And I'm the type of person, like, I don't know if y'all have this, but we have a stylist sneak peek that we do every single month, and we just kind of keep it open. So if somebody asks me, if somebody asks me about like becoming a stylist, I throw them in that group and I just say, hey, and I tag them and I say, go through these, and when you're done, you can ask me questions, and I'll always follow up with them. But it helps that pressure of, like, so I don't word vomit, like you just said, like you just give them all that information and they're like, whoa, don't know what to do with all that. But if they can go and paste and then, you know, I'll follow up with them if they have any questions and that kind of stuff. But as far as hosting parties, I think it's just, like, I have one stylist who, she doesn't host any online parties. All of her sales are in person. So it's up to you and what your style is. I'm not great at in person. I'm outgoing, but I'm a little hesitant to sell in person. Just, that's my personality. But online, I can sell anything, and so that's what I'm dealing with. But there are stylists who, if online's not your thing, or maybe you're not having great success online, maybe that's your sign that you need to get out, and your people are out in person that you're going to connect with in person. But then after hostesses, or after you have a really loyal customer, that's when you funnel them into being a stylist. Yes. I'm going to let you kind of take over.
Okay. But yes, I agree. And then one thing I want to talk about too is just when you do decide to become a stylist, you, like, say you've got a new stylist that's coming in, and, like, you know, we have that units tab, and of course Team Grit and Grace. We have that. It's really good. I don't have that yet in my team page. I'm kind of working to get all that transferred over, a lot of my units in there. But, you know, the units is a really good way to start. And I also say YouTube. I mean, go on YouTube. There's Kelly France. Jackie's a big fan of Kelly France also. I love her videos on YouTube, watching her stuff. So, so if you do enroll someone, I always say, kind of, you know, say, hey, have you looked this stuff up on YouTube or things like that? You know, I think that's a good way to start also. I was going to say something else about this. I'm losing my train of thought now. But yeah, but Jackie, what else did we say that we were going to talk about?
Yeah,
I'm losing my train of thought.
I've thrown this whole thing off. I think just keeping it back to the basics. You were talking about the units section, and I second YouTube 100%. We really didn't have any of this training laid out for us when I signed up. I don't know about you, Angie, because you were a little bit later, but I mean, none of this was really laid out. And I really, I just really had to go to YouTube and find it out all on my own, basically. So the fact that, first of all, we have it laid out now, which is great. But I think if you're really wanting, that's what I wanted to talk about earlier. First, figuring out what you want out of this. So there's going to be some people who only want to be a stylist to have fun. And that is totally great. That's what's great about this company. You can be whatever you want to be. There's people like me and Angie who are running with it. We want this as a business and an income. And we're like working towards that. You have to figure out what you want, because for me, where I want to build an income and a business, I can't work this business like it's a hobby. I can't just put a few hours in here and there. But for you that do just want it to be a hobby, you don't need to be putting in 20 plus hours like we may be putting in, or like full-time stylists might be putting in. And you don't need to put that pressure on yourself either. So you need to figure out what you want out of this. You need to talk to your stylists above you so that they can help you and guide you in the best way to what you want. But figuring out what you want. If you do want this as a business and to grow, you got to do your research. You have to know the business, the compensation plan, obviously your upline, and everybody's here to help you. But if you can do that on your own, it just sinks in a little bit more, I think. And then, you know, I think it helps a lot. So I second YouTube 100%. I just watched everything I could find. So I think that really helps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you definitely do have to decide in the beginning, what do you want out of this? Like, why are you doing this? What are you expecting out of it? I mean, if you're really wanting that extra income, or if this is like, I work a full-time job and I'm doing this, I feel like also full-time basically. So, I mean, I didn't, in the beginning, I didn't really know that this was going to go so fast for me. It picked up and I ran quick with it. So when I saw what was happening in the beginning, what a good opportunity this was and how it was growing so quickly, I mean, I knew I had to jump on this like big time, because we do have a really great thing, you know, right here in the palm of our hands. And so you do have to decide whether you're going to make this like a job. And that's the thing. If you do want it to be a good source of income, you have to treat it like a job. But if you just want to have, like, you know, a little bit of extra money just to shop every once in a while, that's fine too. That's all fine. But I think you kind of have to decide what you want, set some goals, and then figure out how you're going to achieve those goals. And my big thing is, don't set goals that are too high. I like to set small goals, because if you set goals, if you come out of the gate saying, okay, I'm going to have 5,000 PV, like that's my goal for the month. That's not a realistic goal. I mean, it's not. And so if you don't achieve that your first month or second month, you're like, oh, God, I just can't do this. I can't hit my goals. Then you're going to get discouraged and you're going to want to just bail out. Don't do that. I mean, set a goal of 500 and say you make that halfway through the month. You're like, okay, I hit it. Now set another goal. Just keep going with that. And that's what I tell my girls. And my girls are like, okay, I'm going to set this goal. And I'm like, awesome. Push super hard to get to that. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I hit my goal. And I'm like, awesome. All right, let's set another one. Let's keep going, you know? So I think that's big with me, is to set small goals, and don't set them too small, but, you know, set them, you know, where you think, okay, I think I can do that. I'm going to push myself to do that. And then when you hit it, you're like, oh, wow, I just hit that goal. let's do another one, you know? And I think that's a big thing. Don't put your goals too high. Don't overwhelm yourself because you're going to burn out. I mean, I had one of my girls on my team that said she started 4 parties in 1 week. And she said she got overwhelmed and she bailed out. She was like, oh my gosh, like I can't do that. Like, and so I'm like, okay, don't do that. Do 1 party a week. Or just set your goal for 2 parties. Don't take on more than you can handle. I mean, just don't do it. My goal is, I mean, I set my limit at 5, and I don't always have that a week, but I won't allow myself to do more than 5. That would be too much. I mean, of course I run my parties all the same. So I post the same thing in all my parties. So I just basically copy and paste. So it's not that big of a deal, but I just think that setting a goal that you can, that's attainable, and then just don't put too much on yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself so much. And also, I think part of that too is blocking out time to work your business and say, okay, and I started doing this because I wasn't doing this and I was overworking myself. I will say that. I mean, but anyway, I now write down in my planner exactly when I'm going to work my business, the time, and what I'm going to do during that time. And that's the main thing is, what am I going to do between 9 and 10 o'clock at night? If I don't write it down what I'm going to do, I'll sit down to work my business, and then I'm like doing something else. I have to like write down what I'm going to do during that time and get it done. So I feel like I'm just more efficient that way. And so I'm not just all over the place and then up till midnight because I didn't get stuff done. Go ahead, Jackie.
I swear she's silent until I muted myself. I completely agree. Blocking out time, being efficient by knowing what you're going to do. As a new stylist, if you're on here and you're like, well, I don't even know what to do. Like, what are you doing in your time?
Yeah.
You will figure out kind of like what works for you and what you're going to be doing. But it's simple as being very consistent on your own social media, your personal social media. If you are a fan of Kelly France and you've listened to her talk, she talks about find your 5 things. So whatever you like, find 5 of it and share about it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me, it's like faith, food, family, all the F's, I don't know, something. And nails, obviously nails. And just rotating that and just being consistent with posting on your social media page. And then finding hostesses, whether that's your best friend, you're just getting started. You're going to say, hey, Sally, you're my first party, or you're my new hostess. Like, I'm going to give you free nails and that you're going to have a party. That's what I did. I was just, Mom, you're hosting a party. Get ready. Mm-hmm. And you just do it for them. They're hopefully your biggest supporters, and so they're going to help you. But that's a whole new market that you don't even have to bug your best friends, or you don't have to bug your social media page. Like, you can just, find your customers that way. But, I feel terrible, but a crap show. But I think having a list, your upline, I mean, if you're in Flourish Dynasty, we have a list. We have a daily checklist. Angie, if y'all don't have one, I can share one with you. But it's basically
share that with me, because I had thought about that and I have not made one yet, but that was one of my things on my to-do list to do. So yeah, if you'll send that over to me, that'll be great.
It's still a work in progress. I feel like the more I get, into the business, the more I figure out what needs to be done. So it's a work in progress, but it's basically just 6 things that you do every single day. And you can tweak it. If you want a full-time business, you can do more. If you want just a hobby, you can do less. But if you're just staying consistent, like you said, you don't get burned out. And y'all, December, it's going to be crazy. We're going into a crazy, crazy month where you might feel like, I don't really want to do much. I just want to enjoy my family. I'm kind of feeling the same way. And the great thing about this business is you can do whatever you want, but you don't want to go into January regretting having slacked off a little bit. Because what's going to happen is in January, there's going to be people who are rank advancing and you didn't because you slacked off, and you're going to wish that you hadn't slacked off. But if you're just consistent in the day-to-day, like every single day, just being consistent, and that list, it kind of just breaks it down and it helps. But I just feel like if you slack off, you're going to regret it. So if you can just find something that's realistic for your day-to-day, and to be able to stay consistent with it, you'll be happy.
Yeah. One thing I want to say for December is I do think December's gonna kind of be kind of a weird month, only because I think the first half of December will be good. I think people are gonna be buying that first half of December, but then I think after probably the 15th of December, they're not going to want to order anything online because they're not going to get it in time or whatever. So I think that one thing that will help us for the month of December is having stock on hand. I don't keep a lot of stock on hand. I mean, I have some, don't get me wrong, but I don't keep a lot. So I think having stock on hand for the second half of December is going to be really good for people who are last minute shopping. They forgot about a teacher or a bus driver or a Secret Santa present or something like that. So I think having stock on hand is a really good idea for December. Also, actually, somebody posted about this today in our team. Did y'all know that the money holder cards, how when somebody gives you a card at Christmas and it holds money? Okay, those are the perfect size to hold a set of strips. I did not know that until recently. But anyway, like she posted some really cute ones that she got last year during Christmas at Dollar General. And you could get like 5 for $1 or something like that, like very inexpensive. So I think that's also a really, cute gift or whatever for people. But or you can get super crafty if you want to. I don't have time to be super, super crafty these days. So if I can go to the Dollar General and buy something, I'm all about it. So but I think those are just, I think that's what's going to help us for December is just having the stock on hand for last minute shoppers.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, and one thing I wanted to add, because we have so many girls on the team who are so good at like the cute little gift sets and all these fun things. I'm not good at that. I'm not very crafty. I don't have time. And I just like to call them extra. Like they're extra. They do stuff. And I love that. But I am not like that. You do not have to do that to be successful. So all you extra girls out there, I love you and shout out to you because I wish I was like that. But I also want to let those know that you don't have to do all that. You can keep it basic. Y'all don't stress yourselves out for the month of December because you're going to feel like you have to do these gift sets. And you don't have to. You don't
go to the Dollar General and buy the money holders and you're going to be just fine.
And you can ship those in an envelope and they'll be fine. That's right. But just keeping it basic. Just my motto is like, just do what you have to do to make it realistic for long term. I don't want my girls doing anything in December that they can't do every single month of the year because I want it to be consistent and just do things that you can do every single month. But if you do have time, feel free, go for it. Send me some too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I tell my girls. If any of y'all want to make this, I'll just buy them from you. Yeah. Just whatever.
I love it. Well, we have a few minutes. Does anybody have any questions for Angie? I know my girls were like so excited to hear from you. Does anybody have any questions for her? Don't be shy. I know I said
no. Ask me anything. Like I'm up for whatever.
Anybody?
I know Jackie asked me about like personal volume. My PV's been really high the last 2 months. So, and like I said before, I don't keep a lot of stock. I'm not selling stock. My thing is just parties. Like I've just done that. I started that. So, I have some of my regular customers that buy from me, but honestly, probably 85% of my personal volume comes from my parties. So And I now do 5-day parties. I start on Sunday. I end them on Saturday. I post the same thing in all of them. I write out, I have a party lineup, basically is what it is. I call it and I follow it. I post in there about 4 to 5 times a day, and that's it. I basically shut it down on Saturday, and at the end of my parties, I ask for more hostesses. And my very, very last post is an opportunity post. That's it. So that's how I get my PV. I mean,
do you feel like your hostesses, like how do you coach your hostesses? Do you send them like a video or a Google Doc or anything special like that?
No, I keep it super simple. I tell them the day before the party, I have them go on their personal Facebook page and post a picture of their nails and just like be like, oh my gosh, look at my nails. I've discovered Color Street. It's the best thing ever. Just they keep it simple, whatever. They usually tag me in it so I can see, you know, the comments and stuff. And then usually they do that on Friday or Saturday, whatever, post that picture. And then when we start their party on Sunday, anybody that commented on that post, she adds them to her party. Or when I open up her group, I send her the party link. The link to that group. And she goes back and posts it on that post. And she adds her friends to her group that I've set up for her. And then I tell her during her party to comment on things, like them. If she see, like if I post a picture of like the green, the all spruced up, and she thinks one of her friends would love that, I'm like, tag them in it. That's what I tell her. I keep it really simple. I don't overwhelm my hostesses because I don't want them to think that they're going to have to like work for this party. So, like I said, and they may during the party go in and post another picture of their nails. The goodie bag that I send them, I usually send it to them 2 days before the party starts. So they get it. I send them a free set of nails. I do the car freshies. I have a girl on my team that makes them. They're so cute. And so they get a cute little car freshie and a set of nails, a nail file, and samples and a catalog. And that's it. That's all I send them. And so I just keep it really, really simple. I mean, I do. Anybody else have any questions?
Crystal raised her hand. I don't know.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I want to know, on your regular personal page, not your group page, what can you post on there to get people interested? Somebody told me that you couldn't use the word Color Street. What is acceptable? I mean, I know I don't want to sell on that page, but to get people that maybe aren't in my group, to get them asking about it.
I would post the other day I posted a picture of like my hand on a Starbucks coffee cup, and I was like, y'all tell me what your favorite holiday drinks are at Starbucks, things like that. So I posted that picture. Of course, they're commenting what their favorite drinks are at Starbucks, but then I had people go, what is that nail color, and things like that. And so you kind of put up stuff like that shows your nails and gets them in, but you're not talking about your nails is the thing. So that's what I do to kind of get them asking questions about it. Or I've even done something like there was a pair of sunglasses that I wanted that were not super expensive, but whatever, kind of expensive anyway. And I was like, oh my gosh, this extra money is awesome. I got to buy the sunglasses that I've been dying to have, something like that. Or, so you're not really talking about what you're doing, and you're not using the word Color Street, but, you're just kind of putting it out there like, you've got extra money or something. And then, like I said, posting something, holding something, and it shows your nails or whatever. Or like, check out this new ring I got, or this bracelet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Just do things that get people interested. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you post something on Facebook, like talk about dry shampoo, like, I know this sounds weird, but if you post something and you like a can of dry shampoo and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lifesaver, or this is a game changer, or whatever. And you're like, who else uses this dry shampoo, or what's your favorite dry shampoo? I have had girls go crazy over posts like that, and you know, commenting on it, or just anything that catches women's eye about other products that you use, but you're also kind of throwing it, you know, showing your nails also. So maybe that answers your question.
Anybody else? Any questions? Well, Angie, I am trying to figure out how to share that video that you did a while back in the Grit and Grace page, because it was so good. But if not, is there anything else that you have as far as to share about your parties?
You know, and I actually was thinking about making another video about parties, because I have actually changed them up since I did that one, because at the time I did that video, I was doing 10-day parties. Right. So it's not that much different, other than I've just shortened it now to 5 days. And the reason I did that is because, I mean, I think we've all got a little bit of ADD, and, you know, I felt like at 10 days, I was kind of losing people after about 7 days, losing interest. And so I was like, okay, there's no reason to keep going on 10 days when I can shorten everything to 5. So, I mean, basically I'm still doing the same thing that I talked about in that video. I've just shortened it now to 5 days. And like I said, I do them from Sunday to Saturday now, but yeah, I was actually thinking about making another video, just kind of talking about those a little bit. But, you know, in one word, you said earlier that I preach, like I just drill it in my girls' head, consistency. I think that is the number one thing to this business. And just like you said, we're rolling into December and we want to spend time with families. And sometimes during the holidays, we want to take a break. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. I do too. And you don't have to post 5 times a day. You don't have to, if you have your customer group, post in there at least once a day. Social media and the way it works, the more active you are, the more people are going to see your stuff. And you have to stay consistent, because if you don't, you're going to fall off of their radar. And guess what? The other girl right over here that's being consistent, her stuff is going to start popping up in their newsfeed now more than yours. And all of a sudden they have your customer's attention, and you don't want that. So as long as you're being consistent, you're gonna stay fresh and on people's minds. So that's my biggest thing with my girls, is I'm like, stay consistent. Because here's the deal, because I've got one girl, she was so discouraged the other day. She was like, I haven't sold anything in 3 days. I'm like, it's okay. That's fine. It's not a big deal. We're gonna go like this all the time. It's up and down. When I started off the month of September, it was like September 5th and I hadn't sold anything. September was my biggest month ever. I sold 5,500 in September. And the first 5 days I didn't sell. I didn't have one single sale. Okay. It's going to happen like that. Stay consistent. And here's the thing. People that see you on social media, they don't know that you're not selling anything. I mean, as long as you're putting yourself out there and you're putting out a positive vibe, all they know is that you're blowing up and you're super successful, and that's all that matters. So they don't know what your numbers are, and you don't have to tell them. So if you're staying consistent, that's what they're going to see. And that's just my biggest thing, is consistency.
I agree. And I know we still talk about, you know, how not that many people know about